Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well. We're in a new month, we are in August. It's been crazy, all the way from January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. That's 8 months. We survived 8 months. We are it's essentially 2/3 of the year and God has kept us. So in the last video, we spoke about Peter, the 11 disciples and their experience with the waves walking on water. We had that whole conversation. Today we are coming to look at the second part, which is Jesus. So in the first one, we realized that Jesus was outside of the boat and he told Peter to come after Peter had discerned him, and then Peter went and remember what happened. So today we are coming to have a completely different conversation. This time Jesus is on the boat with them and he's sleeping. He's actually sleeping. So as we are starting, I want us to have something to think about. Imagine this. Jesus himself tells you where to go. You obey him. You are literally traveling in the direction Jesus commanded. Jesus himself is with you, and then everything starts to go wrong. He sent you, but everything starts to go wrong. And that's exactly what happened in Mark chapter 4. And I think that this is something that we need to add to our understanding of what we already know about the Bible and how things work. So here we are going to see that resistance is not automatically evidence that we are outside of God's will. Let me take it again. Resistance is not automatically evidence that you are outside of God's will. Sometimes you are in the storm because you are traveling towards the destination that Jesus gave you. So let's start with Mark chapter 4 verse 35. And it says that same day Jesus told them that we should go, let us pass over to the other side. It's not like the disciples got up and said, let's just go in the water and everything. No. He was like, Jesus gave them the instruction. It wasn't their idea, it was a direction from Jesus Christ. He said that was, let us pass over onto the other side. And they obeyed. They followed the instruction. They obeyed. They obeyed God. They obeyed God to the fullest. It says that and there arose a great storm of wind. That's Mark chapter 4 verse 37. It says there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship so that it was now full. Now this was a very important thing to see here. These disciples obeyed God. They obeyed Jesus. Jesus was in the boat with them and everything. And the waves were coming. Remember, in the first instance, Jesus was not on the boat with them. They had already gone ahead of Jesus. But this time, Jesus was on the same boat with them. He gave them the direction. He was physically present. The disciples obeyed. They followed every instruction to the letter. And the winds came. In fact, this time it was even stronger. I can argue that it was stronger. It was filling their boat. It was actually filling their boat. And it was a very unique experience. Then sometimes you ask yourself that if I'm experiencing resistance, does it mean that God is not in it? It's not necessarily the case. Your business can experience difficulty whilst you are obeying God. Today, the Bible has shown that obeying God, there will still be resistance even in obeying God. Not resistance because God is resisting you. Life. Let's not forget, life. There will be resistance. Your education can be difficult. Your marriage will experience difficult seasons. If you are a pastor, your ministry can be difficult. If you're a teacher, your work can be difficult. If you're a doctor, there will be periods of difficulty. Your career can sometimes become an uncomfortable space. But sometimes difficulty means that something needs to change. Sometimes difficulty means that something needs to change. But difficulty by itself cannot tell you whether God is present. Difficulty in itself cannot tell you whether God is present, because Jesus Christ was legit sleeping inside the boat. That should give you perspective. Jesus Christ was legit sleeping inside the boat. Now let's fast forward. And let's get some things into our minds. Your safe place, your place of comfort, the boat, your place of comfort cannot protect you from every storm. In Matthew 14, Peter had to leave the boat and walk towards Jesus. In Mark 4, Jesus was in the boat, yet the storms occurred in both instances. Jesus is outside the boat, the storm still comes. Jesus is inside the boat, the storm still comes. So apparently the boat was never a saving grace factor. It did not matter whether you're on the boat, you're not on the boat, the storm will come. So if you like, don't stay on the boat. If you like, stay on the boat. All the factors that are necessary for your growth will find you, and I think it's a good thing. The determining factor for how you are going to come out of this situation is not the comfort, it's not the boat, it's where Jesus is. That career isn't ultimately your security. Your salary is not your security. Your income is not your security. That relationship is not your security. That qualification, that certification, that business is not your security. The greatest security you have is if wherever you are there with the presence of God. So at this point, I can confidently say that don't automatically interpret resistance as evidence that God has abandoned you. Sometimes resistance meets you directly on the road of obedience. Do not automatically interpret resistance as evidence that God has abandoned you, because sometimes resistance meets you directly on the road of obedience. Now let's go to the part that still traumatizes people. Jesus was sleeping. Now in verse 38 it says that and he was in, this is King James Version, and he was in the hinder part of the ship, asleep on a pillow. And they awoke him and said unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? The boat is filling with water. The disciples are panicking. Jesus is sleeping. Imagine seeing that. Like, Jesus is sleeping. Oh. Are you saying he can't hear the winds, he can't hear the waves, and all of those things? He has found peace where he is. He's actually sleeping. Sometimes God's silence can feel like his absence, but Jesus was not absent. He was in the boat. He was in the boat. I honestly want to understand how Jesus was able to find so much peace despite all the storms that were around him. That's a skill we need to master. That's a skill, because it was only disturbing the disciples. It was not disturbing Jesus Christ. And it was the same thing that happened with Peter. Peter was the one that the storm was disturbing, not Jesus. Peter was the one the storm was disturbing, not Jesus. It was when Peter was giving into the storm that he started to sink. The same thing is happening here. They are also giving into the storm. You ask yourself that, why is Jesus sleeping? Then you go and read Psalms 121 verse 4 one day, and you see that the Bible says that, behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither sleep nor slumber. But Jesus is sleeping. So if you read it, you'll be like, so how was Jesus sleeping? Now that's the funny part. Jesus did not, you see, at a point in time, they wake him up and everything. He did not need awakening to become aware of the situation. He was aware of the situation. He just needed his disciples to bring the situation to him. So there are times when where you are, God is there. Ideally, even God is with you. He's with everybody. Today, he's with everybody. Wherever you are, whichever situation you are in. Oh, let me calm down. I'm taking this to heart. Wherever you are, whichever situation you are in, Jesus Christ is there. Just that he's waiting for you to come and call him. He's waiting for you to bring the situation to him. He has not left you. He has not left you. He is there. No matter the situation, he's there. He's there with you in the business. He's there with you in the marriage. He's there with you in the relationship. He's there with you in your ministry. He's there with you in your career. He's there with you in your education. He's waiting for you to bring it to him. He's waiting for you to ask him to help you. He's waiting for you to reach out to him. Now, they bring the storm to Jesus. There's something I loved about this thing, because the Bible has a way of context. That was their time. We are in this time. The Bible is still the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. They had Jesus sleeping, and they came to wake him up, and they just told him that, Jesus Christ, we are in trouble. Please, we love you and everything. Help us out, But in today's world, the Bible from Philippians chapter 4 verse 6 says that we should be careful for nothing. It's in another verse it says that we should not worry, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving we should make our request known to God. No matter the situation you are in today, no matter the situation you are in today, God requires you to come to him in prayer. in supplication, give him thanks, and make your request. He already knows what you need. There are different Bible verses that talk about how God already knows what is in your heart, but he still wants you to bring it to him. He still wants you to do the exact same thing the disciples did. He still wants you to bring the situation to him. The disciples did exactly that. God wants the same thing from you as well. He wants you to be closer to him. So whatever situation that you have that will bring him closer to you, he wants it. He's open to it. He's open to it very, very much. Now here's the oral farming part. In Mark chapter 4 verse 39, he says that, and he arose and rebuked the wind and said unto the sea, peace be still, and the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. There was a great calm. Before he woke up, before they brought the situation to him and he came to stand on their behalf, what were they doing? They were all panicking. It's over, I can't swim, and yada yada yada. Maybe they did not say they can't swim, but just to give you context and to add more dramatic something to the flavor. The disciples were fighting something that they could not control. Jesus spoke once and it stopped. That's why a relationship with Christ matters. There will eventually be situations where your intelligence will not be enough. Your connections will not be enough. Your money will not be enough. Your experience will not be enough. Your qualifications will not be enough. And you will discover, hopefully not the hard way, but you will discover that all you need is Jesus. You will discover that all you need is Jesus. You know, it wasn't like he was done with that. When he was done, he turned to them in Mark chapter 4 verse 40, and he spoke to them. He said unto them that, why are ye so fearful? How is it that ye have no faith? That was crazy. He told them that why is it that they have no faith? The disciples thought the problem was the storm. To Jesus, there was another problem. Their response to the storm. And it was I just realized that when Peter saw safety in God, when he was leaving the boat, then he saw safety in Jesus when he was leaving the boat. Why is that when Jesus was in the boat with them, they were also terrified? I mean, he's in the boat. If the one who is leading me, the chief oral farmer is leading me and he's sleeping, I'm also sleeping. If he's sleeping, I'm also sleeping. I'm joking. If it was me, I'll be terrified, I promise. If it was me, I'll be terrified. I'll be terrified. But one thing about this situation I liked, that the storm revealed to them what was happening inside of them. Sometimes that's what difficulty does. It reveals to you the level of your faith. It reveals to you your fear. It reveals to you who you trust or what you trust, where your trust is, who you depend on. It allows you to see the areas of your life that you need to correct. And that is one thing about the storms, that when we appreciate it enough, we can see that it brings us out of the places that make us, it not necessarily brings out, it reveals to us the areas of our life that we need to improve. It reveals to us what we know and what we don't know, where we are strong in and we are not strong in. So let's bring everything together. We saw what initially, we have looked at it from two different perspectives. We've seen the boat with Peter leaving, and we've seen where Jesus was in the boat. So in Matthew 4, Jesus says, come. Peter obeys. Peter encounters difficulty. He cries, Lord, save me. Jesus catches him. In Mark 4, Jesus says, let's pass over the other side. The disciples obey. They encounter difficulty. They cry to Jesus. Jesus calms the storm. It's the same pattern. Jesus gives direction. They obey. Resistance appears. They call on Jesus. Jesus responds. I'm not saying that enter the resistance and make it look like you've lost all hope. Jesus has already spoken that they had a faith problem. So you too have a faith problem. So you too don't have a faith problem. Jesus has already spoken about how when it was the other one too, Peter lost his focus because he was not looking at God. So please, when it's also your turn, look at God. Focus on God. So maybe you might be in your own storm right now. Honestly, I feel like everybody has their own storms to deal with at every single point in time. So maybe you might currently be in your own storm and you are asking God, if you told me to do this, why is it difficult? If you gave me this opportunity, why is there so much resistance? If I'm obeying you, why is everything not going so smoothly? Today, Mark chapter 4 is your answer. The presence of the storm does not automatically mean the absence of God. Jesus may still be in the boat, so don't abandon the destination merely because the journey is difficult. Philippians has brought the solution. Philippians says that come to God and pray. Philippians says that look to God. Other books in Matthew says that knock, ask, seek. Other books say be persistent. Keep praying until you get what you are looking for. Keep praying, keep knocking on the door, keep praying at thanksgiving. Keep talking to God, keep talking to God, keep talking to God. Keep your eyes on Jesus, the one who told you, let us pass over onto the other side. He took you there. So let's rely on him as we are going, because Jesus is the one who gave us the direction. The storm does not get the final word. It is Jesus who gets the final word. He's the Alpha and the finisher of our faith. He's our Alpha and Omega. He started us on that journey, and his word will see us at the end of that journey. And that is exactly what he did. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best in August, and I hope you all do well. Hopefully this message helps you to also have a different perspective on the storms that you are currently facing. Give thanks to God, do your best, and let God do the rest. Take care, everyone. Peace.